In July, when I was posted to Judiciary, I proposed some ways of how to mobilize resources and have this wish list actualized. Top management took a decision to start with the construction of the superstructure with whatever resources that were available. The rest would be considered as funds became available. On 2nd September 2019, through open tendering, 7 firms responded, and the successful contractor was Sayani Brothers and Company and Parabat Sayani Construction joint venture at a total cost of 63.9 billion for only 9 floors. Construction was supposed to take 3 years, including defects liability period. However, additional floor on both Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal were factored into the construction to cater for conferences, which have been draining money from the budget to finance them in hotels. Another idea was later adopted to include interior design, and was introduced to include welfare center facilities. Now, this pushed the construction completion to an estimated 4 years. Actual excavation started in March 2020. Construction started in May 2020. Now, today, 18th April 2024, Your Excellency, Judiciary is entering even before the 4 years. This is a big statement to confirm that, after all, government can deliver, especially when the players have got their, what I call, abundance mentality, coupled with patriotism. And all the funding has been from the government of Uganda.
It is a great delight for the judiciary that now it has a home. For me, as head of the Court of Appeal Constitutional Court, I wish to say it on behalf of the justices and support staff that we are happy to have a home where we now shall permanently sit without interruptions of other businesses not related to court activities. My chambers at the Tweed Towers were above a restaurant and a bar. It could sometimes be noisy. That is no more. I wish to thank the government of Uganda, headed by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, for the strong financial and moral support offered to the judiciary in respect of the infrastructure development and other activities of the judiciary aimed at improving access to justice. I applaud the Chief Justice, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, the Permanent Secretary, Secretary of the Judiciary, and Secretary of the Treasury, who ensured that finances were available in time for construction of these towers.
Your Excellency, it is with great warmth and delight that I heartily welcome you to the Judiciary Headquarters on this important occasion, which marks the commissioning of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal buildings. I also extend our hands of welcome to all our distinguished guests present here today. The commissioning of the appellate courts today is indeed a historic milestone in the light of the history of the judiciary of Uganda. Your Excellency, you'd be interested to know that the first Court of Appeal created in this country was in 1967. But it was the East African Court of Appeal that would sit here as the Ugandan Court of Appeal. And then in 1987, we created the Court of Appeal of Uganda, an independent one, but renamed it as the Supreme Court of Uganda. In 1995, the Constitution of Uganda retained the Supreme Court but created a Court of Appeal as an intermediate appellate court. It is quite interesting to bring the point home why today is so important, that although we created a Court of Appeal in 1967 and created the Supreme Court in 1987 and then created an intermediate Court of Appeal upon the creation of the Supreme Court In 1995, all these courts, beginning from 1967, had no home of their own. The Court of Appeal that was created in 1967 operated from this High Court building. So it was a tenant, or you can say a licensee of the Ugandan High Court whenever it was doing business in Uganda. The court that was created in 1987, Supreme Court, began business from Mengo on property that belongs to Buganda Kingdom. Then it relocated to Kololo. It has now relocated opposite the Ministry of Health on Ludell Road. And it is only today that it has a home. What we are saying, Your Excellency, is that for 57 years, the appellate courts have been wandering, homeless, I was about to say vagabonds. Depending on private people to rent premises to them, which we called courts of law or court buildings. The construction of these two buildings, the Twin Towers, comes 85 years after the construction of the High Court building as the headquarters of the Judiciary in 1930. It's written there in Roman numerals, 1930. That's when this old structure was put up, and we have only got the headquarters of the Judiciary, which houses the Supreme Court, after 85 years.
I congratulate the Judiciary and the government of Uganda for funding and putting up these two towers here. And as the speakers pointed out, this was all done with the Uganda government money. It was not a grant from some place or a loan or what, no. It was government of Uganda money. Now, this proves what the NRM told you from the very beginning. We told you that there's nothing you cannot do, but we need to plan and prioritize. This is really what we advise Ugandans. Don't try to touch too many things, because if you try to touch too many things, you end up doing nothing. By independence, when this High Court was here, the old one, Uganda's economy was what we called an enclave economy, a colonial enclave economy, where you had a small island of modernity surrounded by a sea of underdevelopment. That enclave economy was being described as the economy of the 3 C's and 3 T's by 1962. The 3 C's were cotton, coffee, and copper from Chirembe. The 3 T's were tobacco, tourism, and there was a third one, and tea. Now, this was 1961, 62, up to 71. when Amin came in. Now, when Amin came in addition to killing people like Ben Kiwanuka and many others, he destroyed the small island of the modern economy. Cotton disappeared completely. Copper disappeared completely. Coffee kept limping on, but reduced. Tourism disappeared completely. Tea declined from 23 million kilograms a year to 3 million kilograms. Tobacco kept limping on. So therefore, when we came in 1986, there was really almost universal underdevelopment. So therefore, that's why all the actors we need to have convergent thinking of what do we do. Of course, we have been talking about it, but we need to talk about it more. So when we came in, we aimed at a number of phases. Phase one was what we called minimum recovery. Minimum recovery meant bringing back the small island of the money economy. Money economy surrounded by the abakorera ekida kyonka. Abakorera ekida kyonka, teach, meich, keken, as we say in some of our languages. This is the big population around. I've been trying to get figures. Somebody told me that by 1969, before I mean, the money sector was only 4%. The rest were what they call non-monetary GDP, subsistence economy. When we came, of course, we started talking about it, and there was some movement. But by 2013, still 68% of the people were outside the money economy. 68%. So anyway, phase one was the minimum recovery, whereby the small island comes back. And this you can see, for instance, with tourism. Tourism came back. Coffee actually was maintained. Cotton came back a little bit. Tea came back. Production of tea was restored. Copper, we have not yet succeeded in restoring it. So that was phase one. Phase two, expand that small island. Expand that small island, which we have done. Like coffee has gone from 2 million bags to now 9 million bags. Tea has gone from 3 million kilograms 1986 to now 60 million kilograms. It has gone back to the 1972 level and has gone beyond. Tourism has been restored but has also expanded. So that was the second phase. Minimum recovery, then expansion of the small island. But number 3, diversify. Bring other things into the money economy which were not originally money. If you take, for instance, maize. Maize was never regarded as a cash crop. But now it is one of the major cash earners. My tribe, the Banyankwere, had been left out of the money economy by not commercializing milk. But milk now is a big commercial project. Sugar cane, sugar production. There was some sugar production before, but now we have done more. Other products like palm oil, these were totally new. They were never there before. So that is the third element, diversification. The fourth element, which is now this one has pushed the economy from $1.5 billion in 1986 to now 50 billion, 55, it's going to be 55 billion by the end of this financial year. This is an expansion of more than 30 times. But when we have sat with the planners, I have convinced them now, they seem to be convinced, that all this expansion is mainly quantitative expansion. Expand the production of raw materials, mainly coffee, raw material, cotton, raw material. But bananas also have become a big product, a big cash product. But what we are now insisting on is value addition. This is now effort number 4. And we are saying that if we add value to all these, this economy of yours will jump from 55 billion to 500 billion. We no longer want to hear an economy of 55 billion, 60 billion, because that is expansion within the pre-industrial stage. We need to jump, qualitative jump, to become an industrial country by adding value. Now, when you add value, this economy will jump from 55 billion to 500 billion.